Hello, welcome to Just Marries and Funworld. Let's not waste any time, although I've got to readjust this. Let's see what... Oh, okay, not Funworld, New World, Funworld. Let's go straight into Funworld. And I was thinking we should really go back to basics with this show. What that means is we need to find the original cast of Star Trek to make a call to Hal to cheer him up. Wait a second. That is not at all what this was about. Alright, no, but I did mean... What I did mean is that I want to just talk, you know? Just get back to talking about what I want. Not make like a massive deal out of everything. And basically lower the barrier in my mind for what I have to do to record a video. Because ultimately, what I like about this format is that I can collect my thoughts. I can think through things that are on my mind, but I don't have like a full opinion on it yet, or I have not articulated it so far. And I think that might be just a good idea, and not put any pressure on me to make good content, and instead make lots of content. No, that's not exactly what I mean, but you get where I'm coming from. And to that end, I thought Minecraft technically, that is the word. I'm going to I want to make a mine shaft kind of, like a digging exhibition. Wow, I used to be able to speak English. It's not an exhibition, exploration. The word is on the tip of my tongue. Expedition. Is that the word? It sounds wrong now I say it, but I feel like that might be the word. If it is the word, please tell me. If it isn't the word, just let me wallow in my ignorance. So, in terms of Minecraft, I want to make this mineshaft, and I want to go spelunking and just have fun, like that's what Minecraft's for. It's a game for kids who like having fun in mine shafts, but don't want to die in them, so they do it in Minecraft. And that's me. I'm the kid. And additionally, I was also thinking, and I need a bit of a feedback from my dedicated viewers. So, Bena, I mean you. I've been thinking about making some vlogs again. So rather than this format where I play Minecraft and I'm a ghost, I am thinking of just taking some videos around Tokyo with my camera, maybe also like talking about things. It might have slight overlap with what I'm doing here. But also just showing, where I go, what kind of cool cafes and places there are, that kind of thing. I used to sometimes do that, although I think I privated all of them by now. My question is, should I do this in the same channel? Or should I use a different channel for it? And I'm basically decided, so your input is appreciated but not necessary. So please put it in the comments. Thank you. I think I need to be deeper to get iron butterfly. Okay, and as a topic for today, I was thinking about talking about the right shift. Not just in Germany, in Europe generally there's been a right shift in the way people identify and the policies they are pursuing, the parties they are voting for. And me as an immigrant and a refugee from a far-right warmongering regime, in parenthesis, Germany. Oh, it says that in the script, sorry. But yeah, Germany. Feel bad about that. I do not like that. I'm also like left-leaning. I feel like you probably could have gathered that from my output so far. And so I also don't like losing to the right and far right. And it's been, yeah, it's been pretty bad. And I will mostly talk about Germany. That's what I've been watching with worry in my heart. But yeah, so basically, I think in one of the main catalysts for this kind of rightward shift is definitely the way that immigration is thought of and discussed. And it's I mostly blame the media, to be honest. I mean, politicians and the media. But if we think back to 2015, the Germany particularly was kind of like putting its best foot forward, sort of, I guess, and being very positive about the immigrants and the refugees that came, in particular from Syria. It's like, we can take them. Chancellor Merkel was talking about, wir schaffen das, and we did. That means in Germany we can do it, and I mean Germany did do it. It was able to do it. It's interesting, the kind of Syrian refugees. There's like two ways that people talk about it. I think there's one like where people say like, oh, only 50% of them are working now. And then the other one is where they say like, well, 90% of the men who came are working. But yeah, it's just different ways to look at the statistics, I think. And of course, Germany generally has a bit of a problem with underutilizing women in the labor force, even, or particularly women who would like to work for social and mostly caretaking reasons are unable to do so. And of course, this is just as much the case for refugees, perhaps even more, because it might be even more difficult for them to get places in kindergartens, and obviously they don't have the same social networks that can perhaps take care of it, like if the grandparents aren't also living in Germany. But that's a bit of an aside. Either way, so in 2015 there was like a very different view of the immigration waves, more positive one, and in that sense also the people were much more welcoming. They didn't see it as much of a problem, and now this has kind of shifted. Well, for one, like the media is just making it into this massive problem constantly. They just like talk about it. We have the far right party, the AfD. It's called Alternative for Germany, and they just constantly they make it their main topic. But all the other parties have also shifted to talk about it. They kind of, in my view, they're in some ways trying to overtake the far right in policies. And there's kind of this problem from my point of view, because the reason why I don't like the far right is mainly what they want to do, like being really awful to, well, particularly immigrants. Of course, also their economic policies are really shit, but like it's really more about the inhumanity that they're perpetrating that I don't like. But if all the mainstream parties are also doing that, I'm like, I mean, I'm just kind of like politically homeless in a way then, because they're kind of like, well, we have to avoid the far right, and that's why you need to vote for us. And it's like, well, if you have more or less the same policies, and that's a bit of an exaggeration. Of course, there's still some difference between them, but they've gone very far right, and like to such a disgusting level that I would never vote for them. It's kind of I mean, they won. Like the far right won in Germany. Like even if they're not in power already, they kind of won. And particularly in Germany, that's kind of like a scary development. Yeah. So maybe I should just give like the fuller overview of what's happening in Germany, because like we have the far and we have obviously the history with the Nazi regime, and so our mainstream parties are talking about how they do not want to, or they will never form a coalition with the new far right party. And that's what I'm kind of referring to is like, well, I'm glad they won't do a coalition, but if you're just implementing all they're talking about remigration, which is basically throwing out all of the immigrants, no matter where they're from, what their status is, then there's really nothing won in that regard. And recently, Germany was in a there was a big discussion in the parliament, and then also a vote. And basically, what happened is, like I said, all the parties said they would not want to work together with the far right, but the Conservative Party, well, in effect, they did now work together with them. It was kind of like a bit more complicated, but they tried to pass a law that the right-wing party, or that our Conservative Party, our non-far right Conservative Party, introduced into the parliament when they were fully in the opposition. I mean, they're still in the opposition, but since then the government broke apart. But anyway, so they reintroduced this this policy, and then the far right was saying they were going to vote for it, and the conservatives were going to vote for it, and they were possibly going to be able to pass it. That was kind of the discussion, and in that case, the conservatives would have collaborated with the far right. That is at least the framing that most parties go with, and I think like people also mostly feel is correct. But the conservatives instead say like, well, you could just like have done it as well, and we would never collaborate with them, even though I mean you did kind of collaborate with them, like in effect. It's complicated political maneuvering, but to me, and I've said this before, like so far the conservatives are allegedly unwilling to make a coalition with the far right, and I think, although I'm not 100% sure, that they will not do this in this election. So I think they kind of have this wall where they are shutting off the far right and are, at least for now, unwilling to form a coalition. But here's my prediction. I think they will, like in the next election cycle, so 4 years down the line, 2029, I think the conservatives will be willing to form a coalition with the far right. And that's, I mean, it's very scary and upsetting to me. I think you can already see it in the voters of the Conservative Party. They are getting more and more ready to do this. And they're mostly treating the Green Party as their natural enemy, even though to me, like their policies are quite similar. They're like all of these parties, whether it's the Social Democrats, the Conservatives, or the Green Party, there is like the tiniest shaft of light between all of them. From my point of view, they can all like easily work together and achieve terrible goals. But I guess they have to make themselves into their biggest enemies to win votes. The election, I think, is in 2 weeks now. I hope I will be able to vote. I registered, but who knows if it's going to be arriving in time. I'll have to see. Oop. But yeah, so I guess that's kind of the state in Germany. It's somewhere nice. I mean, not just the immigration, although that's really what the discussion is focusing on. Even though, and here's the crazy thing, right? Like, there's a lot less immigration now than there was in 2015. There also, like, a lot of it is like Ukrainian immigration that is counted anyways, and they're fleeing a very close war. Additionally, there's like much less crime than there was before. Like, I mean, we live in a very safe time in Germany and in a lot of places. It's slightly increased since Corona, but like compared to what it was in like, let me see. I needed to think for a second. It was in the 90s. It's just nothing. Like, we're incredibly safe in most Western countries. But of course, the stories are being broadcast, and people feel unsafe. Which is also like this aging society, like just needs a much larger feeling of safety, I think, and that's kind of what we're witnessing as well. But yeah, there were like terrorist attacks, of course, recently. But rather than, I mean, and this is very sad, right? Like a Moroccan girl was murdered by an immigrant, and this is awful. And a Saudi immigrant killed a lot of people on the Christmas market. But you gotta kind of look at the statistics, right? Like, you can't take these single cases and then be like, and that's why we need to be incredibly awful to all the other immigrants that have absolutely nothing to do with it. And yeah, so I'm like, I'm very black-pilled. I'm not thinking things are going very well in the world. Oh, shoot and cheat. Oh, that would be fun spelunking when I'm done with that. Yeah, I mean, a bit of a ramble. I might talk a bit more about the election soon and maybe try to work on my storytelling skills, because I feel like I kind of told that story backwards. But yeah, it's looking all very bleak. All very bleak. No happy. Just sad. Okay, so let's see. All right, I think that's it for this part of the video. I'm thinking of just continuing on for the next video, so I'll see you in the next one, and stay spoopy, friends.